Folks, if you have not watched this, The Dead, based on the James Joyce short story from the Criterion Collection, 83 minutes, 1987, my birth year. This one is a real beauty. Very strong film. The last film of John Huston, adapting a masterly short story by his favorite writer, James Joyce, to a poignant reflection on the totality of life. That's what it says on the back. During a snowy winter in the turn of the 20th century Dublin. So depending on your familiarity with James Joyce, if you clicked on this, it's very likely that you already know a lot about James Joyce, probably a lot more than I do. But I love James Joyce. I love Irish poetry. I love William Yeats. My interest in that whole topic is quite high. And I have this copy of Dubliners and the Portrait of Artist. The artist as a young man, just a simple copy here that I got for Christmas, actually. Kind of fitting, long time ago. And the short story, of course, there's a little part in here that I found to be quite telling as to how the whole story plays out. Galoshes, said Miss Conroy. That's the latest. Whenever it's wet underfoot, I must put on my galoshes. Tonight, even he wanted me to put them on, but I wouldn't. The next thing he'll buy me will be a diving suit. And the galoshes, what are they, Gabriel? Don't you know what they are? You wear them over your boots, Greta, isn't it? Galoshes, something that this device, this invention, this newfangled thing, that's what it is. You put it over your boots, and then if you're walking around Dublin in the snow, it might be a little bit easier. Might be a little bit of a technology, new tech thing of the time period. I think it's very fitting for how the whole story plays out. Because these galoshes, they represent something greater that's always happening, and it's not always said. And the characters aren't even necessarily aware of it. But this film is about the passing of time and how we keep moving on, and we go through family gatherings, concerts, work, whatever it is, until we quite simply can't anymore. Can you tell I like James Joyce? During a snowy winter, it says, in the turn of the 20th century Dublin, the members of an extended family convene for a night of wine, song, and celebration. But it's not until after the festivities that Angelica Huston reveals a secret to her husband, Donald McCann, that casts the entire evening in a new light. So most of the film is just a dinner. Well, sometimes those really work out, those kind of films. I mean, the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie, like that whole thing's about missing dinner. You can't ever get to dinner in that Buñuel film. I was thinking about Babette's Feast, the French film, where this woman throws a feast for all of her friends, all these people she likes. Most of the action in this film, all in the dialogue, it's all inferred, it's all implied, and you might be, okay, it's only 83 minutes, but when you first watch it, if you're not used to cinema that goes at this kind of pace, it might feel like slow, like nothing's happening, but it is. Every word, every piece of dialogue, every interesting angle that John Huston takes with the camera, which I particularly implore you, take notice where he puts the camera. It's absolutely brilliant throughout where he puts the camera. All of that is telling you a greater story. Mise en scène, right? All of it's so well arranged. The way he gets the camera through the different people dancing, it's like I couldn't have. Sometimes when I'm watching a film, I'm like, yeah, that's where I would put the camera. Yeah, that's where I put the camera. I wouldn't even. This is so, to me, to be able to tell this story in this way at this level of effectiveness, I can't even imagine. Roger Ebert talked about that in his review. How filmable was this thing even? But John Huston found a way. The Dead gracefully evokes the passage of time and the haunting power of memory. Boy, it does. With a group of wonderful Irish actors. The wordplay in this, this is the kind of film that if you're, I used to be an English teacher. And if you love poetry, if you love listening to great words recited in a pleasing way, this film's for you. There's a speech by one of the gentlemen at the party, because they take turns, right? Some of them play piano or sing, and and at this party, and there's this gentleman that recites this poem or song or something, you know. I've only seen it once, but he recites it and the whole room's just like watching, trying to figure out what it's even about. But it builds that theme and that mood and that idea that eventually life's going to catch up with you. Fanny and Alexander, I wrote that down. Gosh, does this have the opening of Fanny and Alexander, the Bergman film, written all over it. If you liked, because some of you really like Fanny and Alexander, I talked about that on the channel, and you really got in, you really like that film like I do. Even though this is shorter and it's a different film, and it's not the same film and it's not the same idea entirely, but I even like this better than Fanny and Alexander. But if you do like Fanny and Alexander and you like the whole Christmas opening and all that stuff, this will probably appeal to you, if for no other reason than visually. Like, one thing I found, and I will say this, that I think could be distracting, I don't know all of the like subtext and all of the historical, like, there are allusions and discussions that are happening that I did not catch all of in the first time, and that's okay. But you can kind of get the sense of how everyone in the room feels when someone says something, especially if it's outlandish or rude or out of order or out of place. There's an example I told you. One of this old woman sings, and you find out why she sings and what the history is to all that. And there's more of that in the story, but she's singing, and it could be better, could be worse. And the drunk guy, Freddie, oh man, he's an awesome drunk in this film. Perfect drunk, just 10 out of 10. He's like trying to be really nice to her, but it's like one of those things where he's so nice and complimentary after she sings that it like almost puts a spotlight on her in a negative way. And it's little stuff like that builds the film and builds the relationship between the characters and sort of the reluctant acceptance of those around them and themselves. It's so real. In other words, okay, it might be slow cinema, sure. But if you watch this film, I guarantee you that of all these people at this party, whether they be musicians or whatever their job title is, 2 or 3 of them in your own family. I'm positive you do. Your family may not be as smart as some of these people, but you're going to relate to it, to that feeling, to that atmosphere that's created. And I think that's so universal and it's so brilliant. And I really want to emphasize something. A lot of this is done through the use of the camera. Sometimes the camera feels like it's practically floating up in the sky somewhere in a small interior space. Sometimes it's just, like I said, the characters are dancing, and I don't even know how the camera even floated through there. But wherever the camera is placed, it always causes you to feel an emotion that you would not experience simply reading the screenplay or whoever wrote it. Like, it is just masterful. The beauty of the interior, the exterior. There are shots of this carriage. Like, there's a really important scene where the couple, because it tells you on the back, Huston and McCann, they're going to have like this conversation that's going to come up, and it's kind of a difficult conversation, but the way the carriage, like coach, whatever you want to call it, like just glides through the town in Dublin, and then just like the lighting, I mean, it from the beginning, it's beautiful. Because especially in the 4K here, just the light, like the street light, invites you to come in and hang out with these people and have a good cheer with them. And yeah, a couple of them are going to drink too much. There's this old guy, I don't even remember his name now, but he starts off this is one of the great parts about the film. He's so composed and he's so, regal and stern and just like in control of everything, as opposed to Freddie, who's just drunk from the beginning. I mean, he's wandering around in the bathroom, don't even know where he is. There's this old guy just so, I'm the authority figure. And then whenever he eventually gets sloshed, he's got wine all over his bib and some on his shirt. And he's just interrupting with weird statements and stuff about politics. And then Freddie counters back with something about prejudice, about how he doesn't like it. And then there's prejudice discussed in the film in a realistic way at dinner. I mean, this is the kind of film that if you can hang for 83 minutes with it, you're just going to learn a lot, I think, about yourself, about others. It's going to cause you to have a sense that you need to reconnect with memories and things you have brushed aside from long ago. Dive in, look at them, think about them, no matter how painful it may be. You got to do it. And that is what I love about The Dead. And I think it's something that I found that, because I don't go to that many like large gatherings. I'm very introverted. I mean, it's a wonder I'm even on here on YouTube throwing up videos. Not vomiting, but putting down, uploading. But I was thinking about how a group of people, when they come together and everybody's drinking and gathering and having a good time and trying to go through social manners with alcohol in their system, I was thinking about how that creates such a unique and special atmosphere for reevaluating your life. Because I guarantee you that at some point in your life, you've felt like you got everything in control and you know what you're doing, and you go out to eat with a few friends or something, or you go to one of these long gatherings, or it could be a family reunion, whatever it is. And by the end of the night, you're thinking about something in a different way. Like a conversation that happened, the air in the room, something caused you to have a different outlook than you did 5 hours before you went. And that happens in the story kind of organically. It's part of the strength of the writing, both from Joyce and from whoever worked on the screenplay here. But there's a monologue at the end of this. It's absolutely beautiful. There are several really good pieces of just dialogue that really sound like they're ripped right out of just the best stuff in Ireland. I mean, anyway, I think I'm probably going to be a little higher on this than some people who don't prefer the kind of pace that this movie moves at. But I mean, I sat down and watched it the whole way through. Like, I loved it. So I'm going to tell you, it's my favorite so far of the year. It is 2026. I just absolutely love it. And little passage here wanted to share with you from the essay. Michael Korsky's Another Year. He has a little sentence in here I really loved. I wanted to share with you. There's some good wordplay in this essay, by the way. Look at that, the dead. That's just so pretty. For a tale in which cheerful frivolity rubs elbows with an awareness of life's transience, it's hard to imagine a better setting than a holiday reunion. That's why I said Fanny and Alexander, but okay. It's harder to imagine a better setting than a holiday reunion. Another year passing, the bleak midwinter just outside the door, non-secular thoughts of birth and death and resurrection weighing on our minds. Such festivities remind us that no matter what age we live in, life goes on until it doesn't. Life goes on until it doesn't. And he also talks about, in celebrating Julia and Kate for their good old-fashioned, warm-hearted, courteous Irish hospitality, Gabriel is also nodding to a terrible truth. These remarkable everyday women won't always be there to shield their loved ones from skepticism and pain. There's this whole part where he's just like, Gabriel's just giving this beautiful speech to these people that have put on this hospitality. And it's part of why I brought up Babette's Feast, the French film. I think it's a French film. Is because it has that kind of vibe to it. It just makes you feel better. Like, and I think the best films have a way of confronting and taking on difficult material in a way that's not like sugar sweet, but also helpful. And they make you feel not alone. And they make you feel like other people before you have done this. And, we talk about great directors. We talk about how they looked at the beginning of their lives versus the end. I think all the time about Kurosawa. Stray Dog toward the beginning of his career. What was the energy like with Stray Dog, a great film, as opposed to, say, the end of his career with Ran, the nod to King Lear? That film. Very different, right? And I think this is similar. You could think about like the Maltese Falcon, whatever. It is a real brilliant piece of work, and I hope people hang with it, and I hope people will watch it. But again, like it really is a film that I don't think I would have really liked this at 22 or even 25. I don't think I would have really been able to latch onto it. But I suspect as I age and as I get older that I will leave more and more of myself within the story, or find more of myself within the story, leaving you with this. Tokyo Story, by the way. If you like a film like Tokyo Story, you like an Ozu vibe, this has an Ozu vibe. Kind of. It's not quite the same, but I mean, it's another point of like somewhat comparison, right? Similar comparison. And now, like, I know the film's good because I'm still talking about it, and It makes me want to watch more Ozu again. It makes me want to watch a lot of films that really kind of help me dig around to the deep heart's core, right? Was that William Butler Yeats? I think so. Irish stuff. Cool. What'd y'all think if you've seen it already? Please let me know in the comments if you liked the video today or you found any way to be helpful. If you could do me a favor and click the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you like hearing about Criterions, ones you maybe have or haven't seen, or ideas along those lines, subscribe to Cody in the Cinema.